watu wakaanza kunichekelea. Kaniambia wewe mzee mkubwa, kijana mkubwa hivi ni aje? Kwa nini demi yako anatumia nini? Anatumia pombe. Alafu sasa wewe na wewe unakunywa soda. So nilijipata pia ninanunulio na customers pombe sababu nimepiga show. Na mimi hii kitu ya kupewa hii sasa siwezi kataa. Bado nikajipata naendelea kunywa some varieties. The person I was named after was a pastor. But sasa the cousins wangu wote ambao tunashare hiyo jina Getao, wote karibu kila mtu amepitia mambo ya pombe au Getao wote. Sababu gukaangu alisema hataki Getao wakunywa hata hiyo pombe na nini. Kwa sababu hata bado sasa nikiwa na ile clutches, unaniona masaa ingine nimeenda hivi na clutches ati ninatembea, lakini sasa si ati ninatembea ati nikupiga ka exercise ama nini. Niko na clutches na ninaenda kwa bar kununua pia lock.
What's up, God's people? This is your brother and your friend Eric Mungai, bringing to you your favorite show, The Epic Show. First, I'd like to appreciate all of you for the support, the subscription, the comments, the sharing. Thank you so much for making our channel and the community grow. May the good Lord bless you. And kindly also let us know the kind of stories you'd like us to air. If you have any discussion you'd like us to talk about, drop it in the comment section and the good Lord will bless you. We are hosted by Vicmark Hotels and Lodges Limited. It stands tall along Kenyatta Lane in the heart of Nakuru Town CBD. The new entrant in the Nakuru hospitality industry has the latest state-of-the-art technology, offering guests best ambience and comfort with personalized services. The hotel is ideal for conferences and meeting point for all categories of people, e.g. corporates, businessmen, on transit, tourists, and all classes of travelers. The details are on your screen. Kindly reach out to them and be a blessing to them. Now, today we're going to be talking about a very interesting subject. It has bombarded many by the number of people who have fallen into addiction. You either know somebody who is addicted, or you know somebody, some family which has dealt with the madness of addiction. So we're going to be learning from our psychologist and from our recovering guests about addiction. But for introduction's sake, our psychologist is a registered and certified counseling psychologist dedicated to the mental well-being of many, holding a Bachelor of Counseling from Mount Kenya University and a diploma in theological education. She is able to offer a balanced support to those who are in need. All right, there's a wonderful balance between the spiritual and the psychological part of counseling. She is an addiction counselor as well as an administrator at the Presbyterian Care Center, where they create personalized treatment plans that promote mental well-being for their clients. All right, and our guest is none other than David Getao, who is going to be telling us the story of addiction, how he got into it, what were the ramifications, how did it affect his relationship with significant others. So without further ado, help me welcome Catherine, our psychologist Catherine, to the show. Karibu sana.
Thank you, Eric.
Welcome so much.
Karibu.
It's good to have you.
Good to have you too.
You're no longer a newcomer. You have been here before.
Thank you for calling me for the second time.
Yeah.
I am greatly humbled.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
David Getao.
Yes sir.
Thank you so much for coming.
Nashukuru sana pia.
And even for having the courage to share your story.
Yeah.
Asante
sana.
So Getao ni nani? Let's start from the beginning. Who is David Getao?
Yes, kwa majina yangu naitwa David Getao Gadhura, and I'm a recovering alcoholic.
Okay.
My main DOC, ama drug of choice, was alcohol.
Alright.
Then ikifuatiwa na ukulaji wa mogoka na iko dawa inaitangwa dondo.
What is that?
It's a tobacco ambayo imesiagwa.
Oh, the thing they put here.
So wanaiweka hapa chini ya ulimi ama bado unaweza isniff.
Okay.
So mimi nilidouble major, nilichapa ulimi na bado nikachapa mapua.
Wow.
Yeah, ndio.
Wow. Wow. For how long did you do that?
Nimeifanya kama 5 years. Dondo nimeifanya 5 years, yes.
Alright.
But my journey of alcoholism started way back after I finished my form 4. Mimi nilisomea Nakuru High School.
That's a national school.
Yeah.
So you're a bright student.
In Jesus name.
Wonderful. Eh?
So nilipotoka pale Nakuru High School, nilipokuja nyumbani, mzee akataka ni join tu mahali nisikae idol kabla hata results zitoke. So unakumbuka Nairobi Institute of Business Studies ndio walikuwa wamejiadvertise sana kila mahali. Okay. So nikapenda pale na nikaweza kwenda mpaka Ruiru Nairobi Institute of Business Studies na nikaanza pale computers.
Okay. The computer packages.
Yeah. So nilikuwa nataka nisikae idol mtaa. Okay. So nilipoanza na computer studies nikapenda journalism and mass media studies sababu walikuwa na equipments fiti sana pale. Wow. Na hapo sasa ndio nilianza sasa masomo yangu pale na diploma yangu ya journalism and mass media studies pale. So nikiwa pale ndio nilianza mambo ya anasa na mambo ya pombe. And I was introduced by a girlfriend.
Oh, no. You're running too fast. So before high school, you had never done drugs?
I had never done any drug. I was a very innocent boy. Hata hakuna suspension hata moja niliwaipewa shule.
For your entire high school life?
For my entire high school. I was a very dedicated Christian man of God.
For real?
Yeah, hata siarimi ndo nilikuwa naongoza tu.
So you had a Christian background?
Yeah. Nililelewa katika msingi wa Kikristian. Kubatizwa nilibatizwa Dr. Adha PCA when I was a very early 90s. So hapo ndo niliintroduce mambo ya kanisa.
Wonderful. So in university, in the uni, that is where you got introduced to drugs?
Yeah, in the university by a girlfriend.
How was that like?
So you see, tulikuwa tunaenda machuom kurelax. Na tulipokuwa tunaenda kurelax pale na mabeste tukiwa campus. So for first time niko in a relationship. So huyu girlfriend alikuwa tunaenda mahali kwa club, yeye anaitisha soda. Yeye anaitisha tei, anaitisha pombe. So naye mimi naitisha na sasa unajua bado mimi ndio nalipa. So watu wakaanza kunichekelea. Wakaniambia wewe mzee mkubwa, kijana mkubwa hivi ni aje? Kwa nini demu yako anatumia nini? Anatumia pombe. Alafu sasa wewe na wewe unakunywa soda. So unaona sasa hivyo ndo mimi nilijipata ni peer pressure. I remember the first time hata nilipokunywa pombe yangu ya kwanza ilikuwa on Wednesday kitu kama saa 9. Tulipoenda mahali inaitwa Kahawa Engine, Kahawa Sukari. Kuna club inaitwa Makuti hapo. So tulipoenda pale birthday party, hapo ndo nilikunywa pombe yangu ya kwanza hiyo siku.
So you even remember the place?
Yeah, I remember the place and even I remember the time.
How was the feeling?
Nilikuwa na uoga nilipoteki hiyo ya kwanza.
Were you accompanied by the girlfriend by this time?
Yeah, I was with the girlfriend and other classmates wenye tulikuwa tusha enroll now kusomea mass media studies.
But they were also doing drugs?
They were also doing drugs. So mimi peke yangu sasa pale sasa ndio sasa walikuwa wananichocha. We David, ni aje we.
Hey, it's interesting. Now, Kate, how important is a company? Because you see, from what I'm learning, David had a very good background. David was a good student, very focused. Yeah. When we're talking about drugs and we are talking about pressure, peer pressure, how important is your company when it comes to your mental well-being?
We are social human beings.
Yeah.
And therefore, we cannot neglect the essence of coming together and the essence of being social. And therefore, when we select people who we work with, at a greater percentage will determine who we become. Okay. And that's why you hear that you work with 10 fools, 9 fools, you become the 10th. The 10th one, yeah. You work with 9 wise men, you become the 10th. So the issues of peer pressure is a key factor when it comes to affecting our behavioral way of life. Okay. Come to look at it from the story of David. David growing up in a Christian family, he has never done drugs, but now getting into a social life, and now the social life dictates that you need to fit in whatever way to do this to fit in. So he's trying to have a girlfriend, and he doesn't want to lose the girlfriend, and therefore he has no choice. He needs to fit in. Wow. And by fitting in, he's doing what they are doing. And therefore, the issues of peer pressure, even as we advance in life, it is still a major problem.
It is.
It doesn't only apply to those who are in high school, those are still in primary school, but even later in life, And even now, as we are calling ourselves adults, the issues of peer pressure remains a big factor when it comes to affecting us socially and how we are dealing with other people. Because at the end of the day, we're just seeking to fit.
Yeah, we are relational beings.
We're relational beings.
Wow. That is how much you love this girlfriend.
That is the most I was introduced to her, and nikampenda sana.
This was your first love?
Yeah, this was my first love.
You had never dated before?
I had, but now this one sasa niliona iko very serious. Unajua ile ingine ilikuwa high school ni mara moja tu.
Oh.
Yeah, ile sasa mafunky.
But the fact that you were born again and she's doing drugs, it was not a turn off for you?
Ilikuwa.
But ulikuwa na strength ya kukataa?
Sikuwa na strength ya kukataa.
All right, fantastic. Now we have been introduced. How was your first feeling? Did you love it?
My first feeling, that night, I was very excited. Yeah. Sababu nilisikia feeling fulani tu, yani kwa imeingia kwa system yangu. Alafu tena ile kampani yenye nilikuwa nayo wali cheer up sana na wali ni welcome vizuri sana, kwa hali mzuri sana. So hata niliporudi tu huko campus walirudi kama wamenibebania by the way, sababu mimi nilizima.
So you nilibleki?
Nilibleki. Unajua ilikuwa first time. Lakini sasa nilipofika campus, hii company ya mabeste, nilipofika hostel, so nilipoamka tu hivi wakaanza kuniongelesha na hawakunipatia negative inaitago advice. Walizidi kunipatia positive advices. Wakaniambia unaona vile hata huyo dem ni mzuri, amekuchunga, amekaa na wewe, amehakikisha amelipa fare vizuri, watu tumekuleta poa. So unaona vitu kama hizo. Sasa nikaanza kutrust sasa watu. Na ile sasa kutrust watu ikakuwa karibu kila Friday. Sasa tukitoka campus tunaanza kwenda nao wapi? Sehemu za burudani. Alafu tena nikapewa laptop na rafiki yangu mmoja. Akaniambia sasa wewe ukunywangi sana, wewe kaaga na hii laptop, wewe ndio unatuselectia muziki. So
you are the DJ.
So through hivyo mimi nikaenda kwa DJ mmoja hatari sana.
Wow.
Nikiwa campus. Na nikakuwa sasa kukiwa mpaka na mashow za campus kila Friday. Ilikuwa inaitwa DS. Mimi ndio nilikuwa kusema, na mimi ndio nilikuwa nimeivisha sana mambo ya kumix sana. Na hata sasa nje ya campus yetu pale Ruiru kuna club iko pale, ikakuwa sasa pia ninaitwa mashow, na unapata kwamba mimi ndio. So unapata pia customers wakikuja wanasema ule DJ akicheza ngoma fulani tutanunua kitu fulani. So nilijipata pia ninanunulio na customers pombe, sababu nimepiga show. Na mimi hii kitu ya kupewa hii sasa siwezi kataa. Bado nikajipata naendelea kunywa some varieties. Na taste nasikia kweli hii pombe ina taste mzuri. Kuna pombe nyingine na kunywa nasikia hii ina taste hii sitakunywa. So nikaanza kujua mpaka brand za pombe na taste zake.
Wow. Wow. All this time you're just thinking low but you don't know.
Yeah. Sasa ndo niliingia sasa kwa kisima polepole.
Now is it affecting your studies in any way?
It was not affecting my studies kwa sababu mimi pande ya kusoma mimi
You're a bright kid.
sikuwa hata na spend time mingi sana kwa darasa ama kwa vitabu, lakini mimi nashika vitu haraka na ninapasa.
Wow.
But sasa tutaendelea tu, nitakwambia nilipoendelea ikafika mahali hata interest ya masomo na nini ikaanza kunitoka, nikaanza kurudi nyuma. So ili ni affect. Sema haikuni affect, eventually ili ni affect, lakini tutafika hapo.
All right. Yeah. Fantastic. So tunapiga burudani, tamasha, you're the best disc jockey there is in town.
Best DJ in campus.
Best DJ in campus. Gigs zimeanza kujipa and all that.
Yeah.
You seem to be making it.
Yeah.
You seem to be making it.
Sasa nilikuwa fiti.
How was your relationship with your family members? Now your siblings, your parents. By this time, because now you are sinking into the world.
Walikaa sana
before noticing.
Lakini
because your family was in Nakuru.
My family was in Nakuru.
And you are doing these things in Nairobi.
I'm doing these things in Nairobi.
Okay.
The brother to my sister anaitwa John Moshono. Sasa nilikuwa sasa ameambiwa yeye ndiye ananitake care, anakuja kunionaona ma weekend. Ama mimi ninaenda kwake ma weekend kila Saturday. So hadi hiyo mambo ya ma Saturday kwenda kwake waka notice nime cut off. Kule kwenye nilikuwa naambiwa niende kwangu at least waone progress yangu. Nikaanza kuhepa kwa sababu unapata karibu kila weekend niko nje na ninalipo kuanzia Thursday, Friday, Saturday 2,200 per night. So ikakuwa mpaka sasa hata nyumbani wakanotice huyu mtu hapigagi simu kuomba pesa vile alikuwa anaomba. Hivyo sasa ndo walienda up kuanza kuchunguza, lakini bado nilificha white kabisa wakujua. Unajua time makukuwa na hizi smartphone sana ati za kuonesha mambo yenye mtu anafanya sana. Nilikuwa natumia simu moja Nokia C101. So haikuwa na hiyo mambo mingi ya kweli. Sasa mambo haingejulikana haraka kwa sababu ya teknolojia yetu kwa na hiyo time haikuwa advanced kama sasa hivi.
Okay. Now from that, Kate, I have heard of withdrawing from significant others. Is it a common sign for people who are sinking into some diocese?
Exactly, that is a common sign. And when you start doing drugs, or when people start doing drugs, we tell families, number one to look into is the issues of withdrawal. You know, one wants to feel that I don't want to be known, and therefore I keep into my space. So anytime, and even to the parents, we tell them that when your child, you start noticing there's that essence of isolation and wanting to stay alone, then that is a red flag to watch keenly. Because deep within the heart of an addict, he knows that he's doing the wrong thing.
Oh, deep within?
Yes.
They know this is not the right thing?
This is not the right thing.
Okay.
And David will tell us, at one point he'll feel guilt because, whatever I'm doing is not right. And therefore I want to expose myself and everybody gets to know that this is what I'm doing. And the issues of now wanting to, this is the best company. And I'm so selective on what I'm keeping.
Yes.
So I become selective on the friends I'm keeping. If David will still go back to the friends in the church, he wouldn't feel as if he's fitting in. So you select your people and you protect them in all means. I want to protect this small group because if I'm hanging out with this kind of people, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I'm comfortable, and my things are going well, then these are people to keep. So even my family, you just do your own things.
Stay off.
Let me fit here, and this is where I feel comfortable.
Wow. Was it were you missing your previous colleagues in church, in school? Were you missing the other lifestyle, the church, or by this time it's so boring to be a Christian?
Sasa hata siku anataka kuona best yote wa home sababu obvious atapiga simu aseme Devi ameanza kuharibika. Nikajua nikiwaambia kitu yote kunihusu ama nimeanza kukunywa, stories zitafika home na zijae mtaa na watu waanze kuniaibisha. So niliikisha nimewa-avoid. Avoidance did you avoid kabisa.
Wow. All right. That's fantastic. Quite a journey. Now, how did you notice that this thing is really taking hold? Or at what stage did you start losing interest on the significant things? For example, you are a student and now you have been blinded by 6,000 a week. You're almost forfeiting your goals. When did you come to the realization that I think I'm drifting? Or it never did?
Sasa niligraduate vizuri pale Nairobi Institute of Business Studies.
And you still passed?
Yeah, niligraduate vizuri na nikapata diploma ya journalism and mass media studies ya NIBS na nikapata ya ICM, International Commercial Management, nikapata hizo mbili. So after hapo nikajoin St. Paul's University kupursue Bachelor of Arts in Public Relations, double major na mass communication. So nilipo join sasa St. Paul's University nikakuwa worse. So nikiwa St. Paul's University ndo nilirealize ya kwamba hii kitu sasa hainipeleki vizuri. Kwa sababu nilipokuwa pale St. Paul's University bado nilipoingia kila mtu tena akanijua, nikakuwa best ya kila mtu, nikaanza tena mashow nikiwa kwa ile campus tena St. Paul's. So Limuru mzima pia nilikuwa naitwa club zingine pia kupiga show.
So where is the girlfriend by this time?
The girlfriend wanaishi Kigoni. Mimi hata nilishangaa sana. Na tulikuwa gana yeye tulijuania huko Ruiru. Funny thing nikiwa sasa St. Paul's University na the girlfriend kwao nyumbani sasa ni hapo tu karibu tena na St. Paul's. Anaishi Kigoni. So hata ikakuwa tena ni easy sana hata kwenda kwao na mimi kurudi hivi campus.
Wow. So by this time, these are how many years after?
So hiyo ni 2013-14.
You're still together?
We are still together from 2011.
From 2011?
Lakini sasa tulikosana na yeye hiyo 2014.
Why? What led to
sasa
disagreements?
Sasa unajua sasa nikipiga hizi show zangu na nini So watu wengi sasa vile walikuwa wananijua, hata nikapata girlfriend mwingine.
Come on now.
So unaona walicheki huyu jamaa nika celeb fulani nini. Mavita walikuwa wananipigania, unaona vitu kama hizo. So ikabidi tumebreak.
Wait a minute. The ladies now are fighting for Davy.
Manze.
Davy the DJ.
Nilikuwa naitwa DJ Half-Life.
DJ Half-Life.
Yeah, DJ Half-Life.
Half-Life.
Yeah.
Half as in nusu.
Half-Life.
DJ Half-Life. And everybody was fighting for this handsome young man.
Mambo sasa ilikuwa hivyo.
So you started cheating on her. Yeah, to revenge, she introduced you to the world.
Sasa na mimi sasa ndo nikakuwa hata mlevi hata kuliko sasa mwenye aliniintroduce.
Wow. Was she at any particular moment regretting Davy reduce you doing this too much?
Yeah, ilifika point sasa hata yeye mwenyewe akaanza kuniambia sasa Davy, hata wewe hii mambo ya pombe kwako imekuwa mbaya. Unaona sasa ulikuja ukiwa, hata yeye mwenyewe akaanza kunipea mpaka lecture. Kaniambia sasa wewe penye unaelekea mambo yako si mzuri kabisa. Hata yeye mwenyewe akakosa interest na mimi sababu ya pombe. Na tukanyamaziana hivyo.
And you've never seen her?
I've never seen her.
Wow.
Hata ilipofika pia mazishi ya mama yake pia I did not attend.
You did not attend?
Sababu ya ulevi.
Oh dear Lord.
So ikabidi sasa hata ameona mimi si mtu wa maana kabisa, na after hapo akaninyamazia kabisa.
All right. We apologize. We were not sober.
Yeah.
We were not sober.
Yes.
So by this time to St. Paul's University, you have not realized that this is an addiction.
Nilikuja kurealize this is an addiction bado tu nikiwa sasa St. Paul's University, wakati ambapo nilivunjika mguu.
What led to that?
Nikiwa final year. So hii time tulikuwa tumeitwa show club fulani tu huko Limuru, na kuna jamaa mmoja hapo tukakuwa in confrontation na kukosana tu, hatukuwa tunapendana tu hivyo, ile tu unaonanga tu mtu unaona huyu hatusikizani. So msee alinikanyagaga vibaya sana akanivunja mguu.
Wow.
Na aliponivunja mguu alinivunja hiyo nikiwa hiyo 4th year, na shetani ni mbaya sana kwa sababu ilikuwa niende internship. Nilikuwa nishasekiwa nafasi Citizen TV huko Royal Media Services.
Oh, no kidding.
Opportunity tayari ilikuwa imefunguka nini, so sababu ya hiyo kuvunjika mguu ikakuwa sasa sizienda kufanya kazi ya media kwa media house na niko na clutches. Shetani sasa alianza mambo yake hapo kuniharibia maisha yangu.
Wow. Kate, kindly educate us on the stages of addiction, because you see, he might have started way back.
Yes.
It might have started way back, but he has not noticed. For somebody who might be viewing, they are saying, I've done this for 5 years, 10 years, I don't see any bad. Are there stages to this thing before you hit rock bottom?
Yeah, we have quite a number of, we have stages of addiction. And stage number 1, we call it experimental.
That is when he was psyched up by the friends.
By the friends, you know, to experiment. And then he would now test different brands of alcohol.
That was still experimental stage?
That's experimenting.
Okay.
Because if Chrome will test different from Tusker, you know, just experimenting with these stuff, and then finally you get, now this is now my thing.
Okay.
And that's why you hear people say,
so they are sampling to get to know, this is now my brand.
What is now my drug of choice? You know, this is what I've chosen. This is what is working with me.
Okay.
So the first stage is experimenting.
All right.
So after we experiment, we go now to compulsive to occasional use.
Okay.
That occasionally I can do it. I can stay for 2 weeks. I can stay for a month, and then I go drink. You know, I just do it occasionally. It's not a problem. Yeah. So after we experiment, we now start doing it occasionally. Because
when there is an event,
I already experimented. I know that now, mimi, what works for me is balozi baridi. So anytime an occasion comes and it produces itself, I'll occasionally take balozi, because I tried Tusker, it never worked.
That's my choice.
Now that's my drug of choice. So from now, occasional use, we go now to intensified use. Intensified use is where we try to, we're not doing it occasionally, but now it becomes a habit. You know, I was doing 2 bottles, now I'm doing 3 or 5. You know, it's progressive.
You're growing.
You're growing. I experimented with one Occasionally I'll do 2 or 3, but now intensified use I'm doing quite a number, more often, and increased amount from the previous amount of what I've been doing.
Are you relating, David, with what she's saying?
So
you're
it
relating,
becomes
kabisa.
All right.
So, and with addiction we are trying to maintain the first feel. David said that the first night he took, he felt good. So addiction will lie to us that I'm looking for that first effect, what I felt the first time.
So all these times, I'm looking for a feeling ahead.
The first time, what did I feel?
Oh, that's interesting.
That happiness.
That happiness is what I'm looking about. I'm looking for. So after experimenting, we go to occasional use and now intensified use. Now we come finally to the compulsive use, the addiction stage.
Now this is the compulsive stage. Upon your Deviant natural girlfriend.
Upon the Deviant natural girlfriend, imekuwa too much. Imekuwa sasa amejisahau.
Now he's a compulsive user.
Compulsive user that sasa hao ni wale wa every morning lazima atoe lock. Because now the system already ime register that at this particular time lazima nitoe lock. Lazima nikuwe niko high. And you see now the disease of addiction, we say it's a brain disease.
Now wait a minute. You call addiction a disease?
Yes.
So it's a disease?
It's a disease.
Like I can have pneumonia and take myself to the hospital.
Exactly.
And I should not be judged because I have pneumonia. Exactly. So addiction is a disease?
Addiction is, in fact, we say it's a chronic brain disease.
Wow.
And that's why David will tell you that out of the experimenting and using of these substances, the brain creates what we call a reward pathway.
Okay.
This is to mean that the brain now will demand, you see now, as we are looking for that previous feeling, the first feeling,
yes.
This is the work of the brain.
Okay.
You see, after we take there's a hormone that is released after we feel good.
Is that the dopamine?
Dopamine.
Yes.
After we feel good, and then the feeling of euphoria, you feel like you are
high.
too high.
To level more than a most high.
So your feeling is what every addict
is looking for. Whether you're in an office, whether you're in the street, you're looking for a similar reward.
And this reward is created by the brain.
So the first taste produced a reward pathway.
Yes.
That every now and then I'm going to be looking for.
And that's why
interesting.
That's why we move from dependence from tolerance to dependence. Because every time we are seeking for more. David will tell you alianza na chupa mbili na akableki,
Wow.
But over time he will do 4 or 10 and still be
strong.
Yeah.
Hadi aluta usiku mzima.
Yeah.
The entire night. And you started with a bottle or 2.
Na asubuhi kutoa lock. Na sasa unapata sasa nimekuwa strong hadi sizimi.
So at this stage, now the ladies are fighting for him. No, he doesn't care whether the first girlfriend goes. I have plenty to choose from.
I say addiction is a selfish disease.
Oh, it's selfish.
Very selfish. Because come to look at it this way, here is a man who is working and getting paid, but he forgets he has a family. So whatever he's satisfying is his bottle. The bottle now becomes the new one.
So the priority is the bottle. The priority is the reward. Is my feeling.
Is my feeling. My drug of choice.
That's why they can steal.
They can steal, they can kill, they can do anything as long as I satisfy my cravings.
Yeah.
That is serious. That is serious. So we started from experimental.
Yeah.
Then we went to occasionally I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Then we went to intensified use.
And finally we come to compulsive.
Now compulsive user. Now this is where the girlfriend is saying, I think this is too much.
Yeah, you're not taking too much. It was not meant to go this way,
Yeah.
And maybe you want to say something?
Yeah, alafu sasa unajua kulikuwa nasoma na kazini yangu pia pale campus. Akarealize huyu jamaa sasa saa zingine analewa sana na kuna venye hata behavior zake zimechange. Unajua ni msichana na unajua kawaida wasichana wanapigaga masimu. Msichana ndio huyo anachukua simu anapiga nyumbani. Akaanza sasa kuni report. Nikaanza sasa kujulikana nyumbani, nilianza tabia fulani. Lakini ile time hiyo sasa ilikuwa before nivunjike mguu. Before nivunjike mguu nilikuwa nimeonio sana na mzazi.
Wow.
Nilikuwa kuoniwa, lakini sasa hiyo mzazi alijua sasa through ule kazini yangu alikuwa anapiga anasema huyu jamaa amekuwa kuna venye aendi vizuri.
My question would be, he was introduced by a girlfriend. And by this time when he's reached the stage of a compulsive drinker, the girlfriend seems to be sober. Why is this one getting addicted and the other one is sober? Where mazidi hata mazidi lecturer?
There are also many factors that will lead to addiction.
What are they?
And factor number one is what we call genetic.
Okay.
If this thing is in the family. And that's why you find that there's like a trend or like a behavior that it's just in the family.
Okay.
Like now you find that, same, like in the family lineage, a cousin sharing the same name, they're all the same.
Oh.
And maybe if you look back from their background, you find that then the person they are named after was also an alcoholic.
Was there anything like that in your family? David Gitao, the person you were named after.
The person I was named after was a pastor. But sasa the cousins wangu wote ambao tunashare hiyo jina Gitao, wote karibu kila mtu amepitia mambo ya pombe au Gitao wote.
Every Gitao.
Sababu gukaangu alisema hataki Gitao wakunywa hata hiyo pombe na nini.
Okay.
Nasikianga hivyo.
So there is the genetic factor.
The genetic factor, and that's why we say that the children of alcoholics have high chances of becoming alcoholics.
The children of alcoholics have high chances of becoming alcoholics. So, for example, if the mother was into substance, the fetuses are predisposed to these things.
To these things.
Wow.
If the father was an alcoholic, because there's also the genetic composition.
Was there anybody in your family who was doing drugs?
Yeah.
Between your mom and dad?
Dad.
Oh, he was doing drugs. Okay.
Yeah. So these are the factors that sometimes we cannot never overlook. Especially the issue of genetic, and that's why if you go to the hospital today, they ask you, and maybe you're found to have diabetes.
Yeah.
Is there a family member
who has?
Yes. Also grandfather side, yeah, dad.
Your grandfather was an addict, was an alcoholic as well.
Yes.
Wow.
So you see, these are the things that we connect, and then we say that one factor is genetic. The other factor is the environment. You know, on which environment are you growing in? If there is availability of any drug, then the higher chances of getting
because you're so much exposed
so much exposed.
Okay.
Like today, a child growing up in Canyon or Ronda, this side, and a child growing up in Bilimani, these are two different children.
Okay.
So one is so much exposed to drugs.
The drugs,
and the other one is safe and protected.
Yes.
So the chances of the one growing up in Canyon, the drug dens,
the chances are high.
Chances are very high.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But there is an observation I've made concerning what you just said. There are children from the ghetto and children from higher life.
Yeah.
Majority of the addicts are children from the higher life. Is there anything?
Again, now that is another thing that we don't want to assume, because over the times we've been thinking that children growing in the ghetto, and because of the availability of different types of drugs, they're exposed. But now the other side is there's also another factor that is coming up, because the children from high end, they have access to
any
to
drug
anything.
Of choice.
Think of money, and then now the peddlers are now targeting
them
because they know if I sell this drug at 200 shillings, a child from high-end family will be able to afford.
So they're the main targets.
They're the main targets.
The peddlers.
So things are changing.
Wow.
Because these are it's something in the market, and every business person is looking for, where do I make a kill?
Wow.
So if I'll be able to make a kill from the high-end children, and these are the children that are sent to school with hefty pocket
money. Yes.
So they are able to do anything and to achieve anything.
Yes.
And the other factor that will lead to addiction is, at what age are you starting to abuse these substances?
At what age?
At what age?
All right. How is that important?
It is important because you see the development of our brain. We say that addiction is a brain disease.
It's a brain disease, yes.
So the brain of a boy child will develop from 0 age to 25 years.
25.
So if David starts abusing at the age of 15, 16.
So you started abusing at what age?
That is from 1992 year born
How old were you that time?
To 2013, that is around 24, 23 years.
The brain was still developing?
The brain was still developing.
Okay.
So a child who starts abusing drugs at the age of 15 comparing to a man who starts drinking at the age of 30, the effect is very different.
Oh dear Lord Jesus.
Yeah.
And the way little kids are doing drugs.
No, that is a problem we are facing as a nation because you see now I get inquiries of from a family, and these parents say that, hi, Madam Catherine, I have a son who is 14 years and is doing cannabis. And now that is a big problem because you see now when you talk about the mode of administration of these drugs, with alcohol we'll just drink direct into the system.
Yes.
But now with smoking, we say that the smoke will only take 7 seconds to hit the brain. That is
7
direct.
what?
7 seconds.
The smoke?
For the smoke to hit the brain.
It is that fast?
Very fast.
Unajua pombe afadhali inakaa na uji kidogo. 7 seconds.
7 seconds. So that tells you what the damage of the brain to a younger kid or somebody who is a bit, very young.
The mind is still developing. The brain is still developing.
The effect is
quite high.
Quite high. Quite high. And if today, Eric, we would put the brain of, let's say you've never taken any chemical of abuse, and now here we take the sorry, let me use David.
Yes.
We put all your brain here and David's brain here in a plate. Believe you me, the structure will be different.
The structure of our brains?
Yes.
What will be the difference? Yangu inakaa imechafuka. What will be the difference?
You see now, with the size of the brain, yours is, it will be, we've seen a photo of a brain, how it looks. It will be whole and complete. But for this person who has been into an active addiction for a longer period of time, you find that their brain will have shrinked and perforated so much.
No kidding.
And especially for the alcoholics.
No kidding. And what are the effects of that in our reasoning, cognitive reasoning and all that?
Definitely there's much greater effect to that, because that's why you find that these people who are into addiction, their judgment is always poor.
Wow.
To some extent, our cognition is, compared to somebody who has not abused drugs, even the IQ will be affected. The way you reason.
But I have heard that when you smoke bang, you think sharp. You see, ukipiga jaba, you're meditating. Your brain is.
Those are just myths that are there.
Those are myths.
The truth is, there's a significant difference in the structure of the brain.
My God. David, if you had this information, would you do drugs? If you had this information before you did it?
Kama ningepata hii information, singejaribu. Imeniwestia time sana.
That was so intensive. Now, David, umevunjika mguu na ulikuwa unaenda internship. Royal Media Services.
Yes.
All right. So, are you now starting to see the effects, or do you, at this particular time, do you know now that you're addicted? Is it hitting your mind?
Yeah. It is hitting me that I'm addicted. Kwa sababu hata bado sasa nikiwa na ile clutches, unaniona masaa ingine nimeenda hivi na clutches ati ninatembea, lakini sasa si ati ninatembea ati nikupiga ka exercise ama nini. Niko na clutches na ninaenda kwa bar kununua ya lock.
Oh dear.
So ninaenda ninanunua ya lock, na sasa hizo niko na mabesti wengine wananikujia mpaka na gari, pikipiki, wananipenda sana, wananibeba, lazima waende na mimi. Unaona?
This is the lie here is when people start saying that walevi wanapendana.
And I have heard that a lot. I've actually heard that a lot. You see, they say in the church we are funny people, we are hypocrites, but there's too much love in the bars.
Mpaka unapata unanunulio ni kama ya kuambia pole. Wewe ni kama kuna kikombe yako inakuwa tu imewekwa tu yani.
Yeah. But do you think that is love? Now looking in retrospect, was that love?
You can't notice.
No, now
ukiangalia hiyo size wewe unaona hiyo ni mapenzi kubwa siku ile.
Na sasa ukiangalia from
naona watu kweli hiyo ilikuwa ni wanataka kunimaliza sasa. Size nikiangalia nikiwa na sober mind. Naona hapa watu hawakuwa na mazuri na mimi.
And you see, Eric, that's why we say that people, the peer pressure and wanting to cover each other, they will do anything. When this person is taken to a treatment center to get sober and maybe to correct his life.
For example, in a rehabilitation.
For example, in a rehab center. No friend will come looking for, where did David go?
No one is calling.
No one is calling. We only care when we are doing something
Together.
when it's beneficial for all of us.
Yes.
When I know that leo nitakuchoma na kesho utanichoma. You know, it's like we are always in debt. Si juzi nilikukwamua.
Rudisha mkono.
Rudisha mkono kwa mimi. So we want to maintain that life that you remember wakati ulivunjika mguu I came for you nikakupanguza machozi nikakwambia pole.
Okay.
So this is my time.
Or you do the same.
You do the same. So there's no greater love there because we are doing it. You know, it's just conditional. Because
it's conditional and it's convenient for you guys.
Yeah, conditional and very selfish. Because as long as you want to get sober, I am never your friend.
That is the truth.
That is the truth. You've heard of like in a family setup where we call people who are the significant others who are just enablers. And I've had a case of a man who was in a rehab, and the wife would wish that he goes back to drinking because anytime he's drunk, I'm able to pour him.
The benefit.
You see, but when he's sober, I have no benefits.
So I want him drunk.
I want him drunk. You've heard of cases of people who take these chemicals even to their loved ones
in the rehabilitation. Yeah.
We are trying to
rehabilitate this person. You're trying to change
but
this
the significant other, somebody somewhere feels that no, this person must not get sober.
Because when they are sober, there are some benefits I'm losing.
Yes.
Wow. Sasa Devi ushavunjika mguu. You've missed an opportunity to go to the Royal Media Services for an internship. And now you're using your clutches to go look for some DOC.
Yeah. Kule kwenye sasa nilikuwa naenda pia kupiga mashow, siendi.
Yeah, because you cannot DJ.
Sasa hii inamaanisha aje? Huyu mtu ameanza kusota.
My goodness.
Kupiga simu. Yeah. Ukipiga simu nyumbani, walishajua mambo yako.
Nobody can finance it.
Washaanza sasa avoid, washaanza kukuchukia. Ukitaka kupiga simu utumie pesa, wanashuku sana hii pesa unataka ya nini sasa. Unaona? Inakuwa mpaka ngumu wa kutumia pesa inavyo yenye unataka.
Where are the friends now?
The friends sasa ndio hawa washaanza sasa kutoka pia. Unabaki na mmoja mbili.
Where are the girlfriends who are fighting for you?
Unapata sasa nao sasa wameanza kuondokea. Wameanza kukuavoid, unabaki tu hivyo tu ukiwa sasa ni kama ni
So when push comes to shove, nobody is standing with you.
Hivyo sasa ndio sasa unaanza sasa pia kuwa na mawazo mingi na stress mingi. Hata ile pesa ukipata ile kidogo yenye sasa unaweza fikiria unaweza budgetia kufanya kitu. Wewe tu sasa unajipata unakunywa sasa excess. Sababu mawazo ni mingi nini. Unaona haupendi sasa.
But there is that now. He is starting to feel like nobody loves me. But he is not thinking, what have I done for every person not to love me? Because there was a time people loved you. But at this time, haujiulizi, what have I done that people are no longer loving me?
Mawazo saa zingine inakuja. Lakini itakuja siku kidogo sana ama muda kidogo sana. Juu mara mingi, sasa wewe ulishapendaga pombe. Kama mimi nilishapenda pombe. Hata sifikiri sana kuhusu sasa hata mambo ya ati kwa nini. Sasa mimi naona tu sasa mambo yangu tu ni mbaya. Ni hivyo sasa ni hivyo.
So at this particular time you've lost hope.
Nimeanza ku lose hope kabisa.
Did you at any point get suicidal?
I did not at any point. But sasa ile sasa nikitaka kuwadanganya, nataka kuwadanganya sasa ndio wanifanyie kafeva fulani. Naweza isema tu kwa mdomo nikiwa hata mavitu zangu.
You say what?
Mimi naambia mimi hata naweza jichoma mimi hata naanza kusema vitu kaa hizo. Naanza kusema mimi hata naweza dedi, mimi hata munisaidiagi. Yaani sasa ni kuwatishia, juu ukimaliza ka conversation kama hako kuwatishia utaona at least wameingia mfuko wamekupea kitu. Ni bribe.
There's something you said, Kate, that addiction is a very selfish disease. Addicts are manipulative.
Very manipulative and are very selfish. Because if it is not about me, then nobody else. And that's why you hear David telling us that he would even threaten to kill himself. Because anataka tu familia itoke na kakitu. He just wants favor. And again, they want to manipulate everyone. And the problem with the disease of addiction is the issue of blame game. You know, you put yourself into a mess, but you want to blame every person in the family.
But you are the one who created the mess.
You're the one who created the mess in the beginning. So David will tell you that at one point he will tell the father, "Ata mimi mnipendangi huko." Yeah, it's like I'm not the son of this house. Somebody else is getting favor more than me.
And by this time, your brain is not telling you that you're off tangent. Yani ulikosea mzae, he's been paying fees, he's been taking care of you. You're not seeing this.
Sioni hizo.
The brain cannot comprehend this.
It cannot comprehend.
Mimi bado tu mimi nataka kitu itoke.
Remember we talked about the reward pathway and the shrinking of the brain. So even the judgment, you know, the way we process things or our thoughts, it's different. Because when the issues of selfishness hits in, you know, this person starts thinking, it's about me, you know, me.
If it is not about me, I don't want it.
I don't want it. If you're not doing it to me, don't do it to any other person.
There's something you mentioned, the enabler.
Yes.
Who is that?
The enabler is always a close family member.
A close family member?
Yes.
Who is
the enabler
what?
is, most cases, is probably a parent who keeps on covering this a person in a substance use disorder or an addict. Because when we fail to let these people suffer their consequences, maybe you're called that this person ameshikwa, ni mlevi at night, amepelekwa cell. So instead of this person paying for his actions, we go bail them out.
I have seen that,
not
especially
once,
from
not
men,
twice.
from mothers.
Yes, my son.
No, my son cannot do that.
My son cannot do that. So mothers are most enablers in most cases. And mothers will like, nataka tu 200, wacha nipatie. Mothers are the people who keeps their handbags anyhow. So this son who is abusing drugs will easily get money. And you know we don't count our money. Not like men that in the wallet you know you have 2K. Saizi kibeti yangu kuna 2 portions twingi. Maybe kuna 100 pale. Hiyo side nyingine kuna 500. So when my kids take their 100 more,
you won't notice.
I won't even notice.
What advice would you give to enablers? Because they can be either brothers, sisters, they can be anybody in the family dynamic. What advice would you give to the enablers?
Before I give them the advice, we're getting inquiries from parents, especially mothers. And they're like, you know, my son, mwalimu alisema anatumia bangi, lakini mimi I know my son. Yeah? Maybe I know my son. So me, I tell them that you don't know your son.
You don't know your son.
This son is in school the most hours of the day.
More than you're spending
More than you're spending with this child at home. And even when they come for holiday, we're always busy. In most cases, we leave them with our house helps.
Yeah.
And we don't actually know what is happening in their world. So when a teacher tells you that this and this is happening, hey,
please believe them.
Just believe them, or just find your own ways, not to protect, but try to find, is it really true?
Because when we protect, what happens to the psyche of the child?
This child now feel that I'm not entitled to whatever I'm doing. After all, my mother will always come through for me. And that's why we say that in addition, when we become enablers, they will always feel that somebody will come through for me. That's why when they are jailed and we go bail them out, the next time, because this person has not suffered the consequences, he'll just do it again. After all, my brother will come through.
So you're saying we let them face the consequences?
Let them pay for their actions. It would not do much harm. And in most cases, they give them time to, rethink again. What have I done? If this person is meant to serve his term in jail, there are those who are.
So you're telling us even if they take an action that can lead them to jail, we allow them to face the
Let them
law.
face the law.
Wow.
Because in most cases, tough love. And when you talk about tough love, there's a lady who came to us and after we were with the son, I told him now, because this is becoming something that like a habit. I can go to 1 rehab, 2 rehab, 3 rehab, and then I was like, now, can you change your way of doing things? Instead of taking him to rehab settings, let him drink until he says it's now over. Because who keeps such money?
Because rehabs are expensive.
Yeah, to hoping from 1 rehab setup to another.
Yeah.
And when this lady started now acting, in fact, she was telling me, I just ignored him. You know, after drinking one morning, he came and told the mom, I think I'm tired.
Wow.
This thing is just wasting my life. Today he's okay and working outside the country.
Wow.
Yes.
So we leave them.
Leave them. Sometimes, you know, when you don't, like David will tell you sometimes when you're just not left on your own, you cannot see the value of now thinking and making your own decisions. You know, having that independent mind that after all, I can stand on my own. Because another problem we do as families, we want to be all over this person. Yes, he's an addict, but we're just all over. Uko wapi? Umeshuka matatu, kumbuka usilewe sana leo. Usitake time mingi.
We think that is love.
We think that is love.
It's not.
It is not love. Give this person the space. Let him, you know, be independent-minded. Because even the issues of now getting a turning point of our life, David will tell you even after going to the rehab, it's just it's a personal journey that I now say, now this is enough.
Wow.
This is enough.
Interesting conversation. Now, who was the enabler on your side?
My enabler, mama aliparticipate. Na sister pia alikuwa na sympathize.
So anybody who was sympathizing with you?
Unajua
kuna twist.
Hao ndo nilikuwa na twist hivi wananihurumia. Mom na sister. Yeah.
Now, but how much could they afford? But your dad was tough.
Yeah, alikuwa tough. Hakutakata story.
Now, are you really thinking of coming back home because now you're far, your condition? Are you really thinking of like the prodigal son? I have been feeding on the swine's food. Let me now go back to my father's house. Is that thought coming to your mind?
Yeah, ilifika time. Unajua sasa ninakwambia ilikuwa semester ya mwisho. So ikakuwa sasa nimiko kwa list ya graduation. Sasa hiyo kitu at least hiyo kitu iliwafurahisha pale nyumbani.
At least you graduated.
Hiyo kitu iliwafurahisha na ikakuwa sasa pia nimepona. Mguu sasa ikakuwa iko sawa hiyo time sasa.
Lakini akili haijapona.
Akili bado haijapona.
So
physically nime lose weight saa hizo. Alafu si uko sawa vile. Juu bado tu mambo ya pombe tu. Si uko msafi venye inafaa.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why do addicts hate water? Unaulizanaga nini na maji by the way? What is the problem? Wanaogaga by faith akichungulia hivi maji yameng'ara.
We said addiction is very selfish. And as long as our cravings are satisfied, any other thing can wait.
Any other thing can wait.
Kuoga, it can wait.
So the priority is me rewarding
and
my
the drug of choice and me satisfying my cravings.
Any other thing is secondary.
Any other thing is secondary. That's why you find they even go for a whole month at Jaoga. Just comfort.
As long as they get what they wanted.
Some do not even eat. As long as they kunywa. And that's why you find physically they come to us when already wameisha.
So you see, you see me.
Food is not available.
You see me taking 1 meal per day. Na na feel niko sawa.
Sometimes no meal.
No meal sometimes.
But you must take the drug.
I must take the drug. Saa 8 lazima akili yangu inaitisha mugoka. Inaitisha jaba. Lazima.
And where are you going to get the money? Don't care.
Don't care, lakini uongo mingi lazima nitatumia. Ukiwaga base za jaba ni simu tu unapigaga. Mambo mingi, story mingi, wanazitaga story za jaba. Unawadanganya na zinaingiana. Unapata unatumia 200 na watu kaa 10, hiyo ni 2000. 100, 50.
All in a day.
Inakupeleka mzuri sana wiki mzima hata pole nini. Ukipigaga tu simu hivyo ukitumiago. So unajipata unakula 50 bob peke yake.
Out of the 2000?
Si ndio? Budget ya chakula iko chini sana na hiyo pesa. Budget iko chini sana kabisa.
For example, help me budget for 5,000 as an addict.
5,000 as an addict. Kitu ya kwanza weka tu 100. Hiyo ni ya chakula peke yake.
No kidding.
So umebaki na ngapi?
4900.
100
only.
100 only, hiyo ni ya chakula.
Ama chapo surwa.
Chapo na kupasupu. Ama upate kakichwa kwota, kambuzi. Kakichokota tu wako kambuzi. Alafu supu unajua utapewa sare hapo na ugali ya 30 bob. So 130 sasa hiyo siku yenye unakuwa na pesa kama hiyo at least unanukaa nyama kiasi. Na nikichwa mbuzi saa hizo tu umekakula hako kanini. Hivyo ndo mimi nilikuwa nafanya kivyangu. So najipata nimebaki na kitu kama tuseme 40.
Kuna 40 hapo. Do you buy clothes?
Sitanunua nguo yoyote. Kitu ya pili nitaingia bezi ya tuseme mjaba. Ninunue kama ya so 2. Nikae niko sawa. Ninunue hiyo dondo.
What is that?
Inatokaga 10 ninunue kama 4. Nizisunde poa kwa mfuko. Sasa niko sawa. Nirudi sasa nianze sasa kuita my friends. Hata my friends ndio watatumia hii pesa mingi hata si wewe. Kwa hiyo budget
hata haijafika 1000.
My friends sasa ndio watakuja sasa hiyo siku unataka kujichocha. Waone hata wewe kweli saa zingine unakuwa na do. Kwanza unaitisha ile mzinga expensive sana. Unawekea kwa meza. Hata venye nimeona mabeste ndio wanakunywanga sana hiyo pesa yako kuliko hata wewe venye utakunywa. Na bado
the people you think love you.
Au sasa ndio unawabaia sana na hiyo budget yako ya 5000. Ukijua hasa juu umewatolea form leo, kesho ni hao watakutolea. Kesho ikifika umeamuka, hauna uko njaa, hauna pesa ya chakula. So hata penye utaenda next na jana ulikuwa na 5k utaenda kukopa. Sasa pale penye ulijichocha jana umekuja ukakula ugali nini. So ukishakula sasa kwa hiyo butchery hawatakuona hapo 1 week. Utawaambia mimi nilikuwa na pesa nafaa kutumiwa lakini ngoja masaa mengine nakuja. Leo kwanza tena unaanza kupiga stories za jana venye ulichafua mabeste nini. So unaona ni kama umeenda ile base pale kuwapigisha story ni kama unawanunua yani. Unaona? So wewe umeenda sasa the following day unakula na mkopo. Baada ya wiki moja utaonekana hiyo area.
So you destroy relationship after relationship after relationship after relationship. And then at the end of the day you complain people don't love me. But it is never occurring to your minds, this is what I did for people to start treating me this way. That is interesting.
Inaitango viraka. Huku nje tunaitanga kupiga watu viraka.
That's interesting. For the interest of time, what will be your parting shot? Because we're going to be talking about how did you get your mind back? How did you get your mind back? What is a parting shot to someone who is trying to introduce themselves to drugs? Anaona kama hii ndio tamasha, this is the life. What will you advise your younger self? Look at that camera. What will you advise your younger self?
To my younger self out there, let me advise you and tell you, life is real. Na mambo mingi sana utuhapenia sana huku nje. Na hakuna kitu ya mchezo hapa nje kabisa. Na mabeste ni wazuri. Na opportunities ziko mingi sana za kujiwaste. Na peer pressure muangalie sana hiyo kitu. Angalia wale wenye mnatembea nao. Sasa ile senye umepata shida, hawa watu wata ni very less kama 1 out of 10 wanakujaga kusimama na wewe. Unafaa unajichunga sana na watu. Sasa ile uko na kitu ndio unapatanga watu wanakuja sana kukaa pia na wewe. So inafaa mnajichunga sana, msiingie kwa mambo ya drugs ati experimenting ama nini. Msikilize sana hizi story ambazo sisi tunawapatia ambazo tumepitia. Kwa sababu Mungu alitupatie chance tuwapee nyinyi story. Mungu aliona asiweze kuchukua maisha yetu. Kuna wengine wengi tumekunywa nao na wameondoka. So Mungu alituhurumia sisi ndo tuwahubirie, tuwaambie. Mimi kama mmoja wa wale ambao Mungu alikomboa, mimi niko free kuwaeleza mambo at any time na my contacts nitawapa tu.
Wow. Fantastic. Our psychologist, what would you say is your parting shot to the parents, to anyone who has had a chance to interact with an addict?
Yeah, I would like to say that addiction has no face. So that is to mean it is very undiscriminating. It is not for the specific people. It doesn't recognize whether you are learned or not. It doesn't recognize your status quo. We are all victims when it comes to addiction. So the way we treat our loved ones with chronic illnesses, other chronic illnesses like cancer, diabetes, hypertensive, the same care we take to those people in addictions. Because we have just said addiction is a chronic brain disease.
Fantastic. There you heard it, our viewers. So it's very important, if you're dealing with an addict, to give them unconditional positive regard. Let's not blame and judge them, because it will just make the situations worse in their scenario. Their brains, as we have been taught by the psychologist, cannot comprehend the state they are in. Brain ilisha shrink. So you are there shouting, discriminating, abusing, but to them, you're just sending them down the pit. The Bible tells us that love never fails. Let's embrace them, let's love them, but let's give them tough love. That's all we had time for, but be sure part 2 of this is coming. Remember, we are hosted by Vicmark Hotel, located in Nakuru CBD, Kenyatta Avenue. God bless you. Until next time, let's keep walking by faith.